matchup. What do you say? You want to watch Victini versus Rapid Strike Urshifu?
That sounds good to me.
Or I'm sorry, Single Strike Urshifu.
Yes.
Okay, so we're already on table with Colton here. Definitely have some other matchups so we can jump in. This does have the makings of a faster match because both are very, very aggressive. So we definitely have other games that we can probably jump into after if this does go according to the normal plan.
Yeah, this one kind of comes down to, so Colton should choose to go first here. That is correct. If Boo cannot get down more than one V and Colton's able to get the turn 2 knockout on a benched single strike, it's not a good place for Boo. With that said, Boo does play one stone energy specifically for this matchup.
Yes.
If Boo is able to find that one stone energy on a single strike, Victini cannot take a knockout, which is a very big deal because then Boo can also use single strike's first attack to accelerate 2 energies onto the basic single strike as well, with no fear of getting knocked out.
Not 100% loving this hand for Colton. I mean, he does have the Charizard, so if the Crobat really doesn't do much. So we will see what is going on.
There's a fire energy. The fire energy is nice because you can threaten a turn 2 flare strike potentially.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the balloon is probably going to have to go on it. Colton currently debating.
Yeah.
You can potentially not attach and Crobat for 1. I can't. So this is a good play.
That's a big play.
Yeah, there's no you don't need anything right now, and your opponent plays 3 Marnies.
Yeah, we'll see what Boo has going on here. But in chat they say, are we? I think Pens fans, hockey fans. I am a hockey fan. I live in Pittsburgh. Big fan of the Penguins, but I'm actually a Canucks fan first. And actually, that kind of leads me. Does Mellow like Vancouver since he's so close to them, or is he all about them Kraken coming up?
If I ever actually learn what hockey is, I'm definitely going to root for the Krakens.
Get out.
I'm well aware it is played on ice with a stick. I'm not capable of ice skating, so I never bothered to learn hockey.
Yeah. It's a fun game. That was the sport I played before getting into like hobbies like this. Unfortunately, it takes a toll on your body, so that is why I'm eventually found my way to Pokemon.
And I grew up in Arizona, so it was football and baseball because there was in fact hockey, but not a whole lot.
Pittsburgh Pens fan says Bertuzzi. I don't know if anybody in chat is hockey fans. Todd Bertuzzi was a great player for Vancouver until he decided to go serial killer on a player and basically end his career. But
that'll happen
for sure.
Apparently.
But going back to the Pokemon here, looks like both players are kind of struggling to get set up to what their ideal and an Urn down already.
Yeah, Boo gets rid of an Urn, puts a single strike scroll on a Houndour, and then a Stone Energy on a Houndour.
The Stone Energy's potentially not great because, like you said, that Victini can now one-shot because there is no threat of that defensive Stone Energy on the single strike Urshifus.
Yeah, my gut says that should have been held just in case he draws into the capture energy off of this research. The capture energy could have, of course, gotten down a V, and then you'd be in a very good spot. I'm not sure. He could bite. That's not terrible. It's not good. Doesn't actually fix any math.
Am I saying bikini? No, it's Victini with a V.
Ooh, the Crobat for 2 into the Quick Ball. Quick Ball going to be able to grab the single strike Urshifu V, getting rid of a Houndoom too. The rest of the hand must be very good.
Bite to loosen them up, I guess.
The cool thing is the bite. No, the Stone Energy doesn't help because it's not a. Never mind. I was going to say the Stone Energy prevents the Outrage KO. That's not how this works whatsoever.
No, but
Outrage
you almost want to play the Phantom Waves just to make your hand size smaller, unfortunately.
Yeah, Boo is very happy to see that, but Colton is also happy to see that.
Yeah. Again, just trying to make that hand size smaller to make that Crobat draw that much more optimized, getting more cards out there.
Yep, we're going to see a Crobat for 3 with the Welder in hand. Let's
Hoping
see.
to find some energy.
What Boo promotes here is very, very, very important. If he gives up the Crobat, that could be a free 2 prizes, which is very good for Victini. But of course, if you give up a Houndour, you can't actually Oko this Reshizard next turn.
It is. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. That is what Colton kind of wants to see, because if he can find some energy off here, he's going to more than likely get an attack off. So do you potentially... trying to think here. There's plays in hand here. Again, no Zigzagoon, so he can't do the aggressive play with the GX attack into a double ping for Zigzagoon, which I've seen and done myself a few times, which is pretty fun. You potentially could quick ball away that energy and get it back with the crystal, depending on what's going on, but he really hopes. Yeah, he's really hoping to find at least one more energy, but there's no real good way of doing that right now. So if he does the Dene, with one welder,
there's 2 welders.
That's huge. So if he Denes, the likelihood of him finding the welder isn't great, and even worse, it's just that much worse for the mid to late game if he doesn't take any prizes here and grabs the welder.
He also does have an Eldegoss still. Yeah, okay, that changes my understandable.
Yep.
You're gonna see the bench Victini. We'll see if want a welder to the. This is a tough play because, like, do you want to invest in the GX attack? Because if you GX here, you're not in a bad spot.
Yeah, but that's assuming you do draw another energy off the welder.
Yes.
And he does.
Safe play.
Yeah, so he does have the balloon play, and he can definitely use Victini's ability to spread energy throughout the bench with the spreading flame.
You're gonna see attach. Does the outrage math matter? So if you hit for 50, then I would have 280 HP left. If they accelerate 3 times, that would be 220. And then the Victini KOs it. I actually would have liked to see an outrage here, because then if they accelerate 3 times with Houndoom to KO your Reshizard, you actually KO them back with Victini. But now you don't have a response to KO them if they have all 3 Houndooms.
That's a very great point. Sometimes just figuring out that math in the middle of a game is not always the easiest, but that definitely is something that you should consider. All that ping damage does add up over time.
Yes, the ping damage
Mellow.
is very important. Shout out to Sancho. Coming in with a raid. 2 Houndooms, a research. Ooh, that was a really good hand, but there's only 1 Houndoom left in deck. If Boo finds a Houndoom here,
he's in a good spot.
Might just be GG's, honestly. But the odds of finding the Houndoom are super low.
Yeah, and thank you, Sancho, for the raid of 6. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love.
There goes a second urn.
So we know for sure 2 urns are in the discard. Does he have what he needs?
Oh, there's the PCOM. Is the 4th Houndoom in deck?
We'll find out shortly.
There's a long search, although I have seen Boo play before. Boo really enjoys double checking what's in the deck every single turn.
It's never a bad thing to make sure you know what you have and your options for turns down the road, especially if Colton has any kind of answer for sure.
That's not it. So the quick ball of the Houndoom on turn 1 coming back to bite Boo just a little bit here. Or a lot of it. The downside is there is still a second scroll left. So if Colton chooses to attack into this Urshifu, that does activate that Scroll of Scorn, which would be potentially an easy Oko on a Victini, depending how hard they hit it. So Colton has another turn where there's a lot of decisions to be made. Well, there's currently 0 decisions. The hand is awful. But in theory,
we'll see what that Pokegear does. That might show a lot of what he's going to be capable of next turn.
Yes.
To note,
And just because
he does only have one welder in his deck at the moment, so that is actually something huge to note.
ooh, and there's the escape rope. So beatdown does not KO the Victini. Boo does not play a memory capsule.
Looking
With debating.
through chat, I think I missed something. It looks like, should you play Victory Scorch? Yeah, so John asked, should we play Victory Scorch? Which you made that deck. Well, you and Captain Doom kind of made that deck very popular.
Doom did 100% of that deck.
I mean,
I just
you kind of shouted it out on your social medias to make it super popular. So what's your opinions of that deck? Should you be playing Victory Scorch right now, or do you think that there are better welder decks out there?
I'm a big fan of it. I actually think Tempo Zard's the best welder deck for sure. But I really like Victory Scorch's options, and I feel like a lot of people aren't good at playing against decks if they don't know what it does. And so that kind of gives Victory Scorch a pretty big advantage because it's a Victini deck and a Scorch deck. And a lot of people, if they play it like, oh, I'm playing against Victini, then you can Senti them. If you play it like a Senti deck, then you can Victini them pretty effectively. So yeah. I'm a big fan just because your opponent misplays against it.
I'm a big fan of options, and that deck definitely gives you lots of options.
You're going to see a gear and a fail. Even a boss would have been very nice there.
Yeah. So he can definitely put down a Dedenne. And puts down the energy instead of the crystal. Maybe would have liked to see that energy go on the Charizard. Potentially. Now the play. Do you Dedenne without getting rid of? Okay, so I mean, either way, it's fine. Do you put down the Heatran for that mid to late game threat for those big Okos because his GX attack is still in play, or do you just kind of go for bench space and foregoing him?
I'm trying to think of what else I want. I want a Mewtwo down for sure because currently Boo has not played his Jirachi GX down. And so I think I want that last bench spot for draw. So no, I would not put the Heatran down because we want Mewtwo for sure and then potentially a second Dedenne.
Not drawing into anything that he likes.
No, you can Outrage for not a knockout. You can Energy Burst. That's not a terrible play, getting rid of a Hound. That's not a good play, though.
So he could. He has Switch, so he's gonna potentially just sacrifice this Dedenne and making him forced to find a boss. But again, if he can get now that if he finds a Switch with the Houndooms, he can get him charged up pretty easily, assuming he has another one of those strong energies in his deck. And it was probably good to get an attacker on the bench to just make it that much harder for him to take out the threats, at least.
Now, as of right now, Boo is still safe with a single strike. The problem is technically Colton can always put down a Mewtwo, welder to it, and double blaze with it at any time. And so it's an interesting spot for Boo to be in. Another important note, Boo has one switching card left. So retreating this Houndour is actually kind of annoying. I have a strong feeling that's what Colton decided when he didn't take this knockout.
That's a great point. Yeah, having that threat of Mewtwo potentially out there is huge for Boo. Unfortunately for Boo, he doesn't know that Colton has two welders in the prizes. So that likelihood of it in this specific game, not the greatest.
No, in addition to that, it's Colton's hand is just bad. There is literally nothing you can do with this. You can't even Vmax next turn. It ain't pretty.
I mean, we did see it with Bromac top decking a Urshifu, so it's it is possible. And then there's the Marnie to potentially give Colton a better hand.
Yes, Colton's really excited about this for sure.
Well, okay, so he can potentially stamp down and find a Victini. That doesn't do enough damage, though.
To be fair, yeah, we have a way to get Dedenne, and that's about it. But a bench space was cleared off, so that's nice. We still have room for Eldegoss plus Mewtwo next turn. Oh, and Boo choosing not to take the bait. Not KO this Dedenne.
This is a great back and forth match of who's gonna of chicken, who's gonna go up and take that easy knockout, and potentially get punished for it. So awesome to see. Does he get the Dedenne out? Last Dedenne. Probably the call that you want to make at this point.
Debating between the Goss. The Goss would get back the Welder. Yeah, choosing to Dedenne. Completely understandable. So now you are afraid. Boo has one boss left, but a boss KO on a Reshizard before you take prizes probably loses you the game, because the single strike is the only deck that can KO a Victini Vmax fairly easily.
Yeah. And
There's
he does find a pretty good decent hand there with the Welder, his last Welder, and 2 Marnies. So has options. He can probably get rid of that. I think that's a Charizard. I can't tell from my screen. But that's what he elects to do. Let's see what this Welder potentially finds him.
Yeah, unfortunately not finding the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo would have been a nice grab here.
Does he Welder or does he Marnie? It looks like he's going to Marnie and just play that long game.
Might be debating currently the decision of giving Boo back a bench slot for that Jirachi GX could ruin his win condition, which is probably going to be that Mewtwo play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this also gets him closer to potentially a boss Flare Strike on the V if Boo is not able to find a Vmax next turn, which is also a real game changer. The first one to take a knockout on a relevant Pokemon feels like they're at a huge spot, and taking a knockout on all these like irrelevant Pokemon does nothing. And so both players are showing, a lot of restraint and a lot of knowledge by making these plays of like, I'm not going to take this knockout because it doesn't help me, but it does help you.
Yeah. Yeah, great point. Just because you're taking prizes doesn't always mean it's a good thing for your win condition. Because now, like you said, if he takes out that Houndour, it leaves an open bench spot. You're really taking a relevant prize, and then you're giving your opponent more outs for the rest of the game. And it does look like he gets that Stone Energy out there, so he does have an attack ready to go. We will see.
Ooh, there's a Marnie, which Colton is probably very excited about. Although he hasn't shuffled his deck, so the Welder's still on the bottom. The Vmax is very nice. Okay, that removes the boss Flare Strike play. Oh, it does potentially allow Boo to be a little more aggressive now.
We'll see what Boo does. That doesn't. So yeah, he does have 2 on the bench, ready to go. Seeming like he's slightly ahead of Colton here.
There's a single strike roar for potentially the last strong energy. There it is. It's now 2 single strikes ready to go.
That must be a very intimidating board state for Colton for sure.
I am very scared just looking at it. Not only are those 2 things going to hit very hard, it is very shiny.
And not only that, it's going to be hard for him to knock out both of them in consecutive rounds, especially if he takes out a relevant Pokemon on Colton's side.
Ooh, so there is a Mewtwo. So we'll see. Colton could start taking prizes. Unfortunately, whatever he attacks with is not long for this world.
Yeah.
And you can't Eldegoss and Welder and bench Mewtwo. There's 1 bench space left, which comes back to, thankfully, he did not put the Heatran down. Which I'm glad you brought that up, because that is also always a very good question with these Welder decks is like, I have to Day-Day. What attackers do I need to win the game?
Yeah.
Colton's decided a Victini, a Mewtwo, probably, and a Reshizard is all he needs to win this game.
Oh my God.
And there we're going to see the Vmax come down.
It's looking like it's debating. He definitely. We'll see what he does.
I think this play is okay is because Boo is down 2 of the 3 bosses. If Boo were down like less than 2 bosses, This is potentially a sketchy play because then Boo just goes 3-3 and wins the game in 2 turns.
Yeah.
That timer stresses me out. I don't know how Colton lives this way.
Yeah, you're hearing that bell every 12 seconds or so. It can get very frustrating or intimidating when you're trying to make, the right decisions in a close game like this is.
Oh yeah, like I'm a slow player, but I do not trigger that thing the first time. I'm always like, all right, there's a 40-second clock in my head. Go.
Yeah.
We're gonna see an attach to the Zard, maybe. Unfortunately, there's not much else for Colton to do.
Yep, he just has to be patient and hope Boo doesn't have that boss to take out either of his big threats.
Now, the Zard is capable of OHKOing because of the ping damage from the Houndoom's single strike roar.
Mm-hmm.
Double Blaze GX for 6 energy does take an OHKO on, one of the 2 Vmaxes. The one with the stone energy would survive by 10.
Yeah, so as far as Boo's going, he's going to put the one with more health up on the active, and it looks like he's going to try to take this knockout. He's going to take it without losing the energies, which is good. And like you said, he doesn't have the stone fighting on there, so it might be a little bit rough. I'm not sure with the math here.
No, Boo says enough of this game of chicken, takes the knockout. Now,
Yep.
Colton has to find Welder here, which he has access to a PCOM for Eldegoss.
Yep.
The problem is, after that Double Blaze GX, you get knocked out, and then not in a great spot.
Yeah, first prize is hype. Yeah, for sure. Maybe playing for the second welder later on in the game, hopefully getting off prizes is maybe what Colton's hoping to do.
Yes, that is the benefit of taking prizes here. Does bench the Mewtwo. So the Mewtwo is something that can OHKO the Urshifu in response. Of course, if you're Boo, you just say, well, I'm going to bench the Jirachi then.
Yeah.
But it still forces Boo to bench the Jirachi.
Ooh, and no more energy. So how many crystals does he have? I believe he only had 1. So
yes. 1 that's in the discard.
One's so he has 0 left. So that Mewtwo actually is actually not really going to help him at all.
And there is 0 energy prized. So yes, the Mewtwo can't do anything, like you said. Well, there could be a Spreading Flames play, but
yeah,
that still gives your opponent a chance to win before you win.
Yep, it's just 1 extra turn, and that gives him that. Even if he doesn't OHKO the Victini V, the Victini Vmax, it's still giving Boo time to put that Jirachi onto the bench for the weakness card.
Yeah, Colton making a wise choice not attaching that energy. If this were not a closed deck list environment or an open deck list environment, you potentially attach the Mewtwo to threaten.
Yeah.
But Boo knows Boo can count to 11, I assume,
Hopefully.
and therefore can figure out, well, this Mewtwo is not a threat. I don't care about it. And so let's see what Boo can come up with here. Down 2 urns as well. That's a very big deal.
So he does. He's going to OHKO the Charizard, but potentially he's going to lose, all of that energy. And can he get it set up fast enough to do meaningful damage again? But math. Pumpka Amy says, hey, how's the tourney going? It's going good. We're in round 3, 4? A lot of interesting close games right now. This is single strike Urshifu versus Victory, or not Victory Scorch. It's just straight Victini with Charizard Reshiram. There was a big standoff at the beginning, and there's that urn of chicken. Who's going to take that first knockout? And then the dominoes are starting to fall in this game now. Almost done with this one.
Boo choosing to bench the Jirachi. Interesting choice. Does prevent the Spreading Flames play. I don't know what's in Boo's hand, so Boo might be afraid of a Spreading Flames.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, a Victini just hits you twice and you lose.
Well, he does have the Scroll of Scorn on there with additional damage. And if you get powerful energy out there, you're doing more damage to yourself. Potentially putting you in that range, I think. Possibly.
Oh, actually, yes, because Houndoom does 2 damage counters and then searches energy, correct? So you can actually
Yep.
OHKO this
Yep.
very efficiently. So yeah, actually, a 220 hit, you already have 40, that's 280.
Yep.
You can single strike twice, and then you OHKO the
Yeah.
Victini for a single any energy.
Yep. So it's definitely within the realm of possibilities. That being said, he gets hit and he can just boss potentially for win as well.
That is also true. In fact, with a single strong energy and a single strike roar, I do believe he takes out a Dedenne. Yeah.
So do you take out the Houndooms or
I
do you
like this
take...
boss stall play.
Yeah.
Boo is down both of the switching outs and all of the air balloons.
So do you take out the Jirachi potentially to scare off, or maybe scare him thinking Mewtwo is the play to make?
I think this is a correct play. Go for the boss stall. And just try and power up that Mewtwo. Oh, you already used your GX. Never mind. I was thinking Hot Burn GX. But
So now
Colton's
you're
not
just
in a good spot.
spreading flames now? Actually, no, that's a great play. So he's boss stalling, getting that Mewtwo up and running. Although it's not hitting for weakness, if he can't switch out and then you take knockout, you're potentially in a really good spot.
All right, so from here, Boo does have energy.
Do you guys
left.
hear me?
Yeah, if you could mute yourself, please.
So Boo has 4 basic fighting energy. Well, 2 left, I guess. So plenty of ability to do that.
Coming down to the wire. Let's check on how the rest of this round has been going. We're going to go to pairings. It looks like this is the last game. So we did find the game that went the distance for sure. 2 minutes left in the round. 2.5 minutes left.
Remember at the start when we said that this was probably going to be a quick one?
Yeah. Boy, were we wrong. I was wrong. Both players very patient early game. Trying not to take the bait of those easy prizes, and then it really kind of made for a really good, interesting game for sure.
Ooh, and there we see the double single strike roar going over to that single strike Vmax. So if Boo finds one more earn, he doesn't actually win the game, but he finds earn plus boss and an energy. Oh, that's a lot to ask for. Earn, boss, basic energy would win the game here.
He
basic energy plus boss. Yeah.
Does he even need the basic energy with the scroll with weakness?
For retreating the Jirachi.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so
yeah, because he's out of switching cards.
Oh, and he puts the energy on the Houndoom. Interesting play for sure. Maybe going to switch into the Houndoom into retreating.
He has no switch cards. So
how much is the retreat of Houndoom?
It's 1, 2,
okay.
2, 2, 2. Okay, so turn to the boss stall of the Houndoom. That makes more sense. Okay, now I get this play. I thought Houndoom was 1.
Yeah, so he's playing for the next round for sure. Marnie to try to disrupt.
A minute left.
That just gets Boo closer to what he needs.
Milk the clock.
Let's see.
Let me go ahead and mute myself real fast.
There's a retreat.
Hey. Okay.
And there is... So you take the knockout, the flare strike?
He does take knockout. So does single strike have the knockout? We'll see.
Promoted the non-free retreater, although he might be aware that there's not much time left. And there's the earn, and that is going to be
well
game.
Played
Let's
there.
see. Do they report it in time? I guess is the only question right now.
Yeah, how much time is left?
And there's the
Can't
knockout
be
with 3
long at
seconds
all.
remaining.
3 seconds to go takes the dub, so...
Yeah, the questionable Marnie there, which is, your opponent whiffed what they needed.
Yeah.
And then you Marnie them into it.
That's the unfortunate thing of Marnie. Sometimes it really hurts your opponent. Sometimes you give them win. So it's always a question. So you really have to be cognizant of see what your opponent has, and going in, and hopefully you don't give them to the win conditions. So let's go ahead and see what.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and take a look at another one of our videos here. Also, if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe. It goes a long way in helping us grow. Remember, we release a podcast episode once a week on all the major platforms. We also stream every Friday on Twitch and make a Whimsy Watch monthly report.